friends, today we are going to be working on our Lines That Wiggle project. So what you will be needing for this project is a black crayon, your watercolor kit, and a cup of water and a paintbrush. If you don't have your watercolor kit, or maybe your parents or whoever you are with currently won't let you use watercolors, you can also use markers, and I'm going to show you that as well. The first thing we are going to be doing is drawing our different kinds of lines, just like the lines that we saw in the book. So we're going to be drawing a straight line, a wavy line, a zigzag line, a loopy line, and a dashed line. And I'm going to show you step by step what to do. So I'm going to start with my black crayon, and we're going to start near the top of the paper, leaving a little bit of space. We're just going to draw that straight line from one side of our paper to the other, as straight as you can make it. Okay. Now we're going to be drawing our wavy line, and a wavy line goes up and down and up and down. So I'm going to start underneath my straight line, leaving a little bit of space. I'm going to curve down and up and down and up, down, up, until I get to the other side of my paper. Now I'm going to do a zigzag line. It also goes up and down, but instead, this time we're going to create points. So again, I'm going to leave a little bit of space in between my wavy line. I'm going to go up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, until I get to the other side of my paper. Now my favorite line, it's a little tricky, but it's my favorite, the loopy line. So I'm going to start at the left of my paper. I'm going to loop and kind of curve around, and then loop again. Loop. And I'm going to keep going with my loop until I get to the other side of my paper. Now the last one is called a dashed line. And a dashed line looks like a straight line, but there's spaces in between each part of our line, kind of like you see in the middle of the road. So I'm going to start my line, leave a space, start my line, leave a space, and I'm going to go across my paper. Now I have a little bit of space at the bottom, and instead of leaving it blank, I'm going to start that pattern over again. So now that we have our dashed line, I'm going to start back with a straight line. So make a straight line, and now I'm going to do a wavy line, just until you get to the bottom of your paper. If you have a lot more space, and maybe you're going to repeat the pattern over again, so you would start with the straight line, then the wavy line, then zigzag, loopy, and then the dashed line. So just as many as you can fit until you get to the bottom of the paper, starting that pattern over again. So now that I have my lines, I am going to be painting the spaces in between. But guess what? We are going to do it in rainbow order, just like we talked about in our lesson. So that Roy G. Biv, and guess what? We're lucky because in our paint sets, they're usually in rainbow order already. So we have red, orange, yellow, green, blue, and purple. Now in the video we watched, we learned about indigo and violet are two types of purple in the rainbow. In our watercolor kits, we just have one type of purple, so that's what we're going to be working with. Now as I fill in my spaces, I'm going to go red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple. I have 2 more spaces. What do you think I'll do once I reach purple? Let's think. Maybe we can create a pattern again, and I start that rainbow over again. So I'd use red and yellow until I finish to the bottom of my paper. You might have more colors depending on how many spaces you did. So again, we've used watercolors for our last lesson. I'm going to make sure that I have some water on my paintbrush, and I'm going to start with my red, because that is the first color of the rainbow. I'm going to swirl my paintbrush nice and gently, and now I'm going to paint that first space. I'm making sure that I stay inside the lines. Might need a little bit more paint. All right. Now what is the next color? Who can remember? Let's think. It's red, then... Did you say orange? That's correct. So now I'm going to clean out my paintbrush, make sure there's no more red paint in there. I'm going to dab with my paintbrush just to make sure it's not dripping. And I'm going to start with my orange. Now I'm going to do the orange. I need a little bit more paint just to make my color a little bit darker. Trying to stay inside the lines. Remember, your paintbrush should never have a crazy hairdo. If it does, it means it needs more water. It should be able to glide carefully across your paper. All right, now we have red, we have orange. What color do you think comes next? Let's think. Did you say yellow? That's correct. Cleaning out my paintbrush. Now I'm moving on to my yellow. It's really important that we clean out our paintbrushes in between each color so that we don't mix our colors and we keep our watercolor sets nice and clean, because we'll be using them again in art class. Because Miss Grabowski loves to paint. I hope you do too. Can you think of anything that is yellow? How about lemons or school buses? Maybe even the sun? I'm taking my time making sure that I stay inside the lines, and I'm going from the top of my line all the way to the bottom of that next line there, filling in that space. All right, now I'm going to clean out my paintbrush again. Let's think, what color comes next? We have red, we have orange, we have yellow, we have... Did you say green? That's correct. Green is my favorite color. What's your favorite color? Okay. Now this one I'm going to get inside those zigzags. Doing it nice and carefully. It's okay if you go over the line a little bit. I like to outline my line first, and then I'm going to color it in. Now these little loops at the bottom, you can decide. You can either make it the green color or you'll make it our next color that we're using. I think I'm going to make it this green color. And look, as I'm painting over top of my crayon, I love this, those lines don't disappear, they stay because our paint does not stick to crayon. Think of things that are green. What are some things you can think of? Maybe grass, maybe leaves. The jacket I wore to school today is green. All right, now I'm cleaning out that paintbrush and dabbing off the water gently. I never want to tap. If I tap, I'm going to splash water all over the place and make a mess. I don't want to do that. So I'm going to clean it out, dab it gently. Now what color comes next? We have red, orange, yellow, green. What color comes next in the rainbow? Did you say blue? You're correct. The next color is blue. So for this one, I'm going to go across my dash line here. I know there's spaces in between, but I'm still going to stay inside these lines, and I'm going to fill in all the way up to that loopy line. Again, if you did not paint the inside of your little loopy line green, if you wanted to paint that blue, that's okay too. We're just making sure that we are going in rainbow order, because this is going to help us remember the order of the rainbow. All right. Now I'm going to clean out my paintbrush. We're getting close to the end. So we have red, orange, yellow, green, blue. What comes next? Purple. All right, now I'm going to gently swirl my paintbrush around the purple. across that straight line and paint all the way up to my dashed line here, making sure that I stay inside the lines. It's important that we don't use too much water because we could rip our paper. But we also don't want to use too little because then our paint will be too thick and hard to move around our paper. All right, now I've gone through all the colors of the rainbow. What should I do with those two spaces? Maybe I should start my rainbow pattern over again. So I have red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple. The next color I'm going to start with is red again because that's the start of the rainbow. So we're going to start it all over again. So now I'm going to start my rainbow with red. I won't be able to finish the rainbow a second time because I don't have that many spaces, but you might. Depends on how many extra lines you drew to continue your pattern. Okay, and I'm going to clean out my paintbrush, and the next color I'm going to use is orange because that's the next color in the rainbow. And I don't have any more spaces after orange. You might have some extra spaces, and if you do, you're going to continue that rainbow with yellow, then green, then blue, then purple. All right, once you are done painting, please make sure you find a safe spot for your painting to dry. And if you'd like to send a picture of it to me, I would love to see your beautiful artwork.